And that was Jace Larson reporting. In the wake of a hurricane or another type of natural disaster, it is definitely important to be prepared. September is Disaster Preparedness Month, and Melanie Bangle is a community ambulance paramedic, and she's here with us today, and she's going to tell us what you can do to be ready. Now, of course, the first thing is that most of us just always assume that we're not going to be affected or impacted by this sort of thing, so a lot of us just don't even have a plan. So that's the first thing. How do you get your family plan together?
There are Nevada.gov, ready.gov is a website that you can go to. It'll give you plans on how to go over stuff with your family, how to plan for children. If they're in school, you need to talk to the schools and find out what the schools' disaster plans are too. You know, if you have to go pick up your children or if they're going to shelter in place. And also to teach your kids how to evacuate if they need to. So you should always have a plan about where to meet if you have to get out of your home, or where to meet in your home if there is a disaster. Luckily here in Nevada we don't have too many natural disasters, but we are at risk for flooding, earthquakes, and wildfires here.
And also pets. A lot of people, we've learned the last couple of big major disasters that people don't always take into account what's going to happen to their pets.
Yes, you definitely need to make sure you have the same, you know, you're going to need food and water for you and each one of your family members for at least 72 hours. Same thing with your pets. They need to have food and water also. So you actually need to provide for them that extra food and water that they're going to need if you're going to take them with you.
Now, my understanding is you brought some things here to show us of different things that you can take with us, but there's also, like, I guess 5 things that you should never forget, that these are the 5 things that, you know, we have a, let's talk about those.
You always need to have water, that's for sure. You can go without food a lot longer than you can go without clean water. You should always have your medications, at least 3 to 4 days worth of your medications if you take medications every single day. Same thing with your pets or your children. If they take medications, you need to have those with you. You also need to have light, like a flashlight, so that way if you have to navigate around outside of a vehicle or anything at night, you're keeping yourself safe. So a radio, they have crank radios, so you don't actually need batteries. Those are really good. Definitely a first aid kit, and then non-perishable foods, beef jerky, dried fruit, that kind of stuff like that. Anything that's non-perishable, you can actually buy kits that have bars and stuff that'll actually last 5 years with a shelf life, and they have a lot of calories, so you only need to eat a little bit of it and it'll sustain you for a long time.
And all of these things are what should make up a ready kit, is the way we're calling it.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff that goes into a ready kit.
And where should we store our ready kit? Because it makes no sense if we don't have it accessible when it happens, right?
And there's more than one size of a ready kit too. It just depends on how large your family is. But it's best to store it in a place where it's not going to get wet. So if you have a shelf in your garage, or a lot of people will store them in the trunk of their car. So that way if they're out away from home and a disaster strikes, they already have it in their car and they're ready to go. So they don't even have to try to go home and get their stuff. The best thing to do is to plan ahead, not wait until the disaster right before it hits to start getting your supplies. You need to do it well in advance, because once the disaster hits, everybody's trying to get supplies and they run out really quickly.
Some very good advice. We've definitely seen that at play, and especially in Harvey, and now going on with Irma hitting. Thank you so much. This is Melanie Bangle. She is with the community ambulance paramedic, helping us with Disaster Preparedness Month. Coming up, the importance of keeping